Is the state actively harassing and intimidating activists who are working with tribals in the Naxal-hit area of Bastar in Chhattisgarh? Well, that's a big debate today as prominent activists in the area are hitting back and standing up to threats. Bela Bhatia, who's been a key figure in exposing the alleged victims of rape by security forces in the area, saw a mob of 30 men barge into her home recently in Bastar, threatening to burn down her house. It was a rented accommodation. They gave her 24 hours to leave. Bela has now taken up the threats with Chief Minister Raman Singh, but many others who work here say that they have also been abused by the local top cop, who denies the charges. I spoke to Bela Bhatia yesterday on what exactly happened to her. Bela, have you been firstly able to file a police complaint on the mob attack that happened the other day? Has any police investigation started?
I'm going to be registering it later today because so far, one thing has been happening after the other and I've not been able to move out. But later today, I'll be registering a FIR, a police complaint.
Can you explain to us what exactly happened that day? We believe it was a mob of about 30 people that came to your home. What happened that day?
So it was around 12:30 in the afternoon, and I was out of the house near the hand pump because inside the house the signal is poor, and I was speaking on the phone when I noticed that a vehicle came like a Bolero type of vehicle. And along with 2-3 motorcycles, they were there on the road. And then I saw people coming out of the vehicle and, they were looking at my house and they were also looking at both sides of the road as though expecting for more people. And it so happened that 2 of them came to the hand pump to drink water. And around that time, my pet dog, who is named Somari, she was in the courtyard and she went after them like she was barking. And I tried to stop her and reassure them that don't worry, she won't do anything. And around that time, that person who was a little drunk, he said that, "Wo kya karegi, main karunga." So I said, "Aap kya karenge?" And he said, "Kaat denge." And that is when I really felt that this was, a mob or something was happening. It was not just a group of people, but they were here with a purpose. And after that, I had the phone on I had the mobile with me, so therefore I took a photograph and they, saw me taking the photograph. So then they immediately sort of, came towards me with the intention of, taking my mobile. Now, actually it has happened already, there's been one incident of my mobile being snatched on the 17th of September in Jagdalpur in the Lalkar rally, and जिसका मैंने FIR भी किया है वहाँ पर. मगर इस केस में मैंने somehow I was able to hide it, and then the leader sent his persons inside to look for the mobile, but they could not find it.
Bela ji, it actually sounds really horrifying, this entire sequence of events. And activists who work with you there, who know you well, they've also claimed to have received a number of abusive and threatening messages, purportedly from the phone numbers belonging to the region's most senior police officer, Mr. Kalluri. Kalluri, however, is completely denying the charges. He's saying, "I'll investigate what has happened."
Well, I think, I think he's not telling the truth because, either we believe in technology or we don't. And, in these messages, from whatever I've seen of them in the WhatsApp and, other social media sites, the name of the officer, the number of the officer, all that is very, open to scrutiny. So I cannot understand, how can, what he's saying, how can that be the truth? And, what has happened here, it's not that, just because it is me and therefore it is important, not at all, because it's already happened to many people here and worse things are happening to the, Adivasis of Bastar. But, what has happened here was also quite terrible. When, a mob comes inside your house, threatens you, says that, you have to move immediately this minute, otherwise we are going to burn. And telling each other, go and bring kerosene cans, and so there is this whole talk about jala denge, kaat denge, तो ये लोकतंत्र नहीं है, and इसमें फिर हम अपेक्षा करेंगे हमारी पुलिस से कि वो इस प्रकार के, इंसिडेंट्स को वो सीरियसली ले और वो अपनी जिम्मेदारी समझें, तो ही फिर हम सिटीजन्स उन पे विश्वास कर पाएंगे.
Bela Bhatia speaking to me yesterday, and in fact since then she has also met Chief Minister Raman Singh to personally take up this issue of the threats that she has been facing, and she's refusing to leave the area. She of course has to leave that house, which I said was a rented accommodation, because they were threatening to burn it down, but she's saying she'll continue to stay and work there in Bastar, where she has worked for almost a decade now, living there I think pretty much since early last year. Well, we have activist Shalini Gera in the studio with us. She's a lawyer, member of the Jagdalpur Legal Aid Group, and has herself faced intimidation and threats in the area. Sudeep Srivastava is a well-known lawyer and activist who has also worked extensively in Bastar. Sanjay Srivastava, the spokesperson of the BJP, joining us via Skype from Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Noel Swaranjit Sen, the former DGP of Andhra Pradesh, who has extensive experience in dealing with the Naxal problem. He joins us tonight, and Professor Rakesh Sinha of the RSS is with us as well. Sanjay Srivastava, let me ask you first. Sanjay ji, what is your reaction to this? Because this is not just about Bela Bhatia. कई एक्टिविस्ट हैं वहां पे जो कहते हैं कि उन्हें थ्रेटन किया गया है, इंटिमिडेट किया गया है, और जो बेला भाटिया के साथ हुआ है, ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? व्हाई इज देयर अ पैटर्न दैट सीम्स टू बी इमर्जिंग इन बस्तर?
देखिए निधि जी, बस्तर में जो घटना अभी घटी है बेला भाटिया के नाम से, जो मैं भी सुन रहा था, किन परिस्थितियों में हुई, क्यों हुई है, ये सब जांच का विषय है। और जैसा कि प्रशासन के माध्यम से बताया गया, आईजी ने बताया वहां पर कि रिपोर्ट दर्ज की गई है बेला भाटिया जी की, और इसकी जांच विस्तृत रूप से की जा रही है। लेकिन यदि हम बस्तर, जो कि एक नक्सल गतिविधियों से जूझ रहा है, एक बड़ी लड़ाई को छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार के नेतृत्व में लड़ रही है, और हमने ये देखा है कि जो इस तरह के एक्टिविस्ट हैं, मैं बेला भाटिया जी के बारे में नहीं जानता बहुत ज्यादा, लेकिन इस बस्तर में देखा है कि इस नक्सल के मामले को लेकर जिस तरीके की दोहरी नीति बहुत सारे एक्टिविस्ट के माध्यम से, और ये प्रूफ भी हुआ है आने वाले समय में कि ये कहीं ना कहीं नक्सली गतिविधियों से मिले जुले रहते हैं। ये पहले इस तरह की गतिविधियां आती थी कि पुलिस पर आरोप लगते थे, डायरेक्टली पुलिस पर ब्लेम होते थे कि पुलिस इस तरह के कामों को करती है। लेकिन ये जो अभी प्रारंभिक स्थिति 2-3 दिनों के अंदर में आई है बेला भाटिया के खिलाफ में, कि उनके घरों में जिस तरीके से 30 लोग गए, प्रदर्शन करे, तमाम प्रकार की बातें आई, उसमें सीधे तौर पर किसी पुलिस प्रशासन का नाम नहीं आ रहा निधि जी। इसमें कुछ लोग वहां जाकर उनके खिलाफ में इस तरह की बातचीत करे हैं। आज देखिए, बस्तर में जो नक्सल मूवमेंट है, उस नक्सल मूवमेंट में सरकार के साथ साथ वहां के लोग भी उस नक्सल के खिलाफ में सामने आ गए। जिस ललकार रैली की बात हुई कि लोगों ने, जिस सलवा जुलूम की बात हुई कि ललकार रैली के माध्यम से लोग बाहर निकलकर उस नक्सल का विरोध कर रहे हैं।
मैं आपको ये सवाल पूछना चाहती हूं कि जब छत्तीसगढ़ पुलिस ने नवंबर में नंदिनी सुंदर के खिलाफ एफआईआर दर्ज किया था, और कई और लोगों के खिलाफ एफआईआर जब दर्ज हुआ था, उस टाइम एनएचआरसी ने ये कहा था कि it gives credence to the belief that this is part of state police vendetta against lawyers, journalists and human rights activists who have been critical of fake encounters, mass rapes and arsons by security forces. In other words, NHRC का कहना है कि ये पुलिस का वेंडेटा है, ये पुलिस जानबूझ के जर्नलिस्ट और एक्टिविस्ट के पीछे पड़ी हुई है। जो लोग फेक इनकाउंटर्स की बात कर रहे हैं, बलात्कार की बात कर रहे हैं, वहां पे जो सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस, विच इज व्हाट सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस आर अक्यूज्ड ऑफ, ये नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन का कहना है, मेरा नहीं और ना एक्टिविस्ट का।
देखिए, मैं निधि जी एनएचआरसी के इस तरह की बातों को मैं सीधे तौर पर या स्पष्ट तौर पर या कहूं कि 100% नहीं मानता, क्योंकि जिस बस्तर में नक्सल के खिलाफ में लड़ाई लड़ रही है वो ह्यूमन राइट्स के मेंबर नहीं। ठीक है, हमारी एक संस्था है जिस पर हम विश्वास करते हैं, जिनके जो आदेश रहते हैं उसका पालन सरकार करती है, इस बात को हम मानते हैं। लेकिन जिस बस्तर में जो लड़ाई लड़ी जा रही है, यदि सीधे तौर पर यदि हम पुलिस प्रशासन को, वहां पर बस्तर में नक्सलियों से लड़ने वाले नौजवानों को हम सीधे तौर पर इस तरह से ब्लेम करेंगे, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इस लड़ाई को हम आने वाले समय में नहीं जीत पाएंगे। इस बस्तर में देखा है कि किस तरह के सोशल एक्टिविस्ट जो लोग हैं, उन लोगों ने किस तरह की नीति अपनाई है, किस तरह के कामों को किया है। जिस जेएनयू के लोग आकर वहां पर किस तरीके से लोगों से मिलकर नक्सलियों का समर्थन करने की बातचीत करते हैं, ये सब भी आपने और हम लोगों ने मिलकर देखा है। लेकिन ठीक है, इस देश के अंदर में सुनिए मेरी बात हो जाने दीजिए। इस देश में लोकतंत्र है, डेमोक्रेसी है, इसमें सभी को सब कुछ करने की आजादी, कहीं कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं है। नेहा भाटिया जी वहां, बेला भाटिया वहां रहती हैं, क्या करती हैं मुझे बहुत ज्यादा नहीं मालूम है।
इंस्टीट्यूशंस में बिलीव ही नहीं करते हैं, नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन ने कह दिया तो गलत है। लेकिन
शायद आपने निधि जी सुना नहीं मेरी बात को, फिर से रिवर्स करके सुन सकती है। मैंने कहा एनएचआरसी, ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन या सभी कोर्ट के जितने न्यायालय के, हम उनका सम्मान करते हैं, सरकार उन बातों को मानती है। मैंने ये कहा शायद आपने सुन नहीं
संजय जी
पाया।
हमारे साथ रहिए।
लेकिन
मैं शालिनी गेरा और सुदीप श्रीवास्तव से भी यहाँ पे पूछना चाहती हूँ that Shalini, you yourself have faced intimidation there. What Sanjay Srivastava is saying is that this is it's a security matter essentially. It is a Naxal infested area, and he is accusing activists like yourself of being hand in glove with the Naxals.
Okay, there are a few things I'd really like to respond to in what Mr. Sanjay Srivastava has said. This is always the accusation that comes across us whenever we try to raise human rights violations issues. Human rights violations by definition are those violations that are taking place by the state. So by definition, when we are talking about these issues, we have to accuse the state. That does not mean that everybody who accuses the state is with the Naxals. And that is something that we have to get away from. Today is the Republic Day, we are talking of the Indian Constitution. We are the people who are trying to uphold the Indian Constitution and hold the state accountable to the Constitution and the rule of law. And this accusation comes up again and again. We are people who are putting cases in the court of law. Nandini Sundar has taken a matter to the Supreme Court. She's a petitioner to the Supreme Court. We are lawyers who are operating in the courts of Bastar and courts of Chhattisgarh. But every time we're talking about these issues, the same thing comes across. The second point is raised is that these are civilian people who are going after Bela Bhatia, but that's also a pattern, a repeated pattern of state violence, that they're always in Chhattisgarh putting across civilian groups, and the police is actually fighting from behind the civilian groups. We had that in Salwa Judum as well. There were civilian groups that were armed by the state, and that is what the Supreme Court said was illegal and unconstitutional. Again, we had Samajik Ekta Manch, another so-called civilian group. That was the one that attacked Malini Subramaniam's house and attacked us and finally drove us out of there. That again was a civilian group, but it was proved later in the media that they were facilitated and funded by the police. And now we have a third version of it called Agni, which so-called is again a civilian group, but again
what you said is very important. And Professor Rakesh Sinha, what Shalini is saying is that everybody who is, talking about human rights violations by the state, by state forces, and even on this issue of the alleged rapes and sexual assault that is taken, which the Indian Express exposed, that also has been suo motu taken up by the NHRC, which is looking at it. But everybody who raises those issues is not an anti-national and is not working with the Naxals. Is that the problem here, that immediately the state is quick to dub them as Naxals, which is what Mr. Kaluri, the senior officer there, who's always at loggerheads with the activists, which is what he keeps calling them. White-collared Naxals, he calls them.
I heard the narrative of Bela Bhatia, and hearing her narrative, I have full sympathy for her, and I expect that the state would provide security to her, that no private individual or group has any right to damage any person, because everyone enjoys the equal freedom in this country. But most important point is that, the existing reality of Chhattisgarh is different. It is rich in resources, but manned by the poor people, poor tribals. So there are many vested interests who are working there. So there are many contradictions. So one cannot reach any conclusion after hearing one person or one individual or one narrative. But most important point is that, Nidhi, that while I have sympathy and solidarity with Bela Bhatia hearing her narrative, but at the same time, having said that, at the same time, in Chhattisgarh has become a intellectual laboratory of the Naxals. You have to make a distinction between the human rights activist and pro-Maoist activist. In the name of human rights, in the taking the facade, you directly proclaim that you are a pro-Maoist activist. There is no harm. But taking the facade of human rights, taking the facade of research, if you are creating you are escalating the contradiction in the state, that creates a lot of problem for the police, for the local citizens, because in Chhattisgarh is a very sensitive area, particularly Bastar. So you cannot mix up all the activist case in one bucket. That every case
but Professor Sinha, I am asking you what I was asking Sanjay Srivastava, that it was the NHRC which said that this is police vendetta against lawyers, journalists and activists. This is NHRC only a few months ago. And this is an institution, I think, that we all by and large generally respect. So they are talking about a pattern of things that have been happening. It's not just about Bela Bhatia.
we should respect the institution. If National Human Rights Commission is observing something, then the corrective measures should be taken by the police. Nobody is going to defend police if police is taking excessive measures against any activist, whosoever may be. Anyone can be sympathetic to Maoist activists. That doesn't mean that he or she should be haunted. But at the same time, it is also moral responsibility of the media and activists that those who are pro-Maoist activists kindly don't project them as a human rights activist. There is also human rights of the tribal, human rights of other people, but only you are protecting. We have seen in the case of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh Civil Liberties Committee, the name is a human rights, but entire APCLC was protecting the Naxalites. That time the Congress was ruling in Andhra Pradesh. They had to face a lot of problems.
All right. So Rakesh Sinha is saying there's a difference between human rights activists and pro-Maoist activists. Now, what is that difference?
This difference, Mr. Sinha is trying to paint, is actually a device to safeguard policemen, security personals which have been indulging in continuous violation of constitution and law in the Bastar area. Mr. Sinha, I would like to mention one case. In Sarguja area, Maoists almost finished off. No Maoist activities has been reported since last 3-4 years in Sarguja area. There was a girl, Meena Khalko. She was killed, murdered by policemen. 12 policemen have been found by a Judicial Commission of Inquiry that said that Meena Khalko was killed and murdered, branded as Naxal, and she was raped also. Even after submission of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry report, 3 years have passed, not a single police person have been suspended. They all are serving despite the Judicial Commission of Inquiry constituted by the state government itself. What is happening in Bastar is simple. Those who raises voices, those who raise issues with regard to violation of poor tribal people, several cases High Court have ordered exhume the body and re-postmortem is being done. Several cases where in 2008 there was a NHRC report in earlier also in 2008 which says out of 503 complaints filed at that point of time, 187 were found prima facie true, and NHRC has ordered registration of FIR in 187 complaint. Not a single case have been completed trial. That is how the state of Chhattisgarh is functioning.
That that is what is worrying. And Mr. Swaranjit Sen,
whoever raises these issues is simply being branded as Maoist sympathizer.
Yeah, and Mr. Swaranjit Sen, on the police though, what you're saying on the police?
I am not branding everybody as a Maoist activist.
If state has evidence that any activist is Maoist sympathizer, then why don't they arrest him?
We should make a distinction between the Maoist activists,
then
those
arrest
who are
them,
promoting Maoism
arrest
in the name of
them,
research and human rights, and those
if
who
you
are
having evidence,
genuinely doing the human rights activism.
Let me ask
This is
Mr.
damaging
Swaranjit Sen on
those.
this.
If you are going to protect every activist who are the Maoist activists, then it is damaging for the people like Bela Bhatia.
No,
So don't mix up all the activists.
You are mixing up. You are mixing up the issue.
What Sudeep is saying is, if there is evidence that somebody is indulging in
judge of Allahabad High Court once said that police
activities against the state, arrest them.
Uniform. So I don't have good impression about
Mr. Sinha, one second. Let me get Mr. Sen in.
But we should also
What Bela Bhatia
every institution in the name of human rights.
Mr. Sen, as a former DGP, sir, you worked in in Naxal-infested areas in a long part of your career. How do you see the way things are playing out in Bastar at the moment, and the conduct of Mr. Kalluri, who as a senior officer has also allegedly been abusing activists who've been sending him messages? For instance, after this incident with Bela Bhatia, he says that I haven't sent those messages, but they have those screenshots from his numbers and the kind of abuses he's hurled at them. Is he conducting himself with the right, with propriety here? Is he, bringing pride to the police here?
Well, to begin with, I would like to say that I have been listening to all the speakers very intently, and I feel each of them has a point of view to express which is very valid. Now, talking about the IG Kalluri, I really cannot understand why he should be doing such things, sending all sorts of messages and all. because in police we have plenty of authority and plenty of power to take action. We need not resort to these cheap tactics, and certainly these cheap tactics are not to be encouraged. Now, this gentleman also has senior officers, so the police system is such that it can correct itself, and the sooner they correct it themselves, that will be for the best. But the only thing is that in all these debates, what I find is the debate is reduced to a tutu mema. Now, I do not find any of the sides expressing or giving ideas which will be useful for solving the situation. Especially, these activists who work in these areas, they should have by now given us some ideas how to rectify the situation. But not one of them does that. They only seem to raise objections against the administration, the police and the police action. I am not justifying anything. I do not subscribe to any extrajudicial action by the police or by anyone else. But I would expect that the NHRC and its members, who are supposed to be absolutely judicious and independent in viewing situations, would have suggested some ways to meet the situation which is now going on for years and years.